Shalom, shalom, Hebrews and Shebrews. It's your brother Mikael, Yesharon. What up, shalom, Ben? I'm at the park. It's a beautiful day, and it's just one of them days, man. I got up and prayed, and just need to focus more on the word. And I was thinking, stuff keep popping up, being that this truth is starting to spread like wildfire. And so they coming with every little trick to try to discourage you from finding out that as far as the so-called Negro, that you're an Israelite. And they're getting desperate. But see, the thing is, we have an advantage. And that is the word of God, because it can cut through all philosophies, all Satan tricks and all that. So I want to put y'all up on another little old lie that's been around, and they trying to rehash it because they've been reading that Song of Solomon and they see they have a problem if they saying that the Israelites was not black people. And I know some of y'all getting tired of this, like, why we got to keep focusing on race? Because they going to keep bringing it up. If you can keep the Negro from knowing that they are a royal bloodline, then the Negro will not expect much of himself, because they can't replace it with nothing great. You know what I'm saying? And so we just gonna debunk them left and right. And so y'all might hear sometimes people say that, and it starts in the churches, because they start this lie in the church. They say that Song of Solomon is a love story between Solomon and a Shulamite woman, right? And they have to say that, and I'm gonna tell you why they say that, when all you have to do is read the scriptures. So now I've even heard, peace, Brother Ben, I've even heard that they try to say that certain parts of Song of Solomon was written by this woman. Well, I'm gonna show you real quick, this ain't gonna take 10 minutes, how to debunk that. And I'm gonna show you why they saying that, and it really just kills it even further, that without a fact, the Israelites were black, and Solomon was black. And I remember I used to believe, and it's a possibility it still could be true, where Solomon is called ruddy, that when you look up some of the definitions, that's why sometimes context is better than etymology, but etymology can be cool too, the meaning of words. And people used to say, I was under the understanding that ruddy meant light skin, which wouldn't be a big thing because, we've always had quote unquote red bones. So you would see Solomon and David being called red bones, right? Or ruddy. But as my understanding grew, and it may still be the case, we don't have no pictures of them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they got stuff floating around, but when you get the understanding that the Song of Solomon was written through the Spirit of Christ. It's an esoteric book. You know what I'm saying? All the scholars will tell you it's esoteric. It's not a surface book. It's not what it looked like it's saying. So I'm going to tell you flat out. I did a lesson some years ago. I believe it was on Debate Talk for You, South Showtime. I've been trying to look for it so I could load it to my Hebrews in the Hood channel, but I can't find it. So I'm going to reach out today and see if I can find it, because I'm not sure if it was on Debate Talk for You or if it was on Global Media. So I'm going to reach out to both of them, Basim and Sal, and see if I can find it. Because I went in depth about the secrets and Songs of Solomon, right? So let's do this real quick. So like I said, I used to believe the ruddy thing was just light-skinned, until when you really read it, in context, it's talking about spiritually that he's pure. That whoever wrote that, or whoever that's talking about, is saying that they're pure, they're clean, because it say I'm white and ruddy. Now, we know it wasn't talking about his complexion, because in the exact same book, this person says, I am black but comely. Now, that's talking about visual, physical, right? And this is why they trying to flip it now and say that it's a woman, a Shulamite woman, writing that. Because if it's Solomon, you got a problem. And if it's Christ, you really got a problem. So either way it go, they telling you that one of the two of these Israelites, because Christ himself was an Israelite, and so was Solomon, they're black. So they got a problem. So let's just debunk this real quick by going to the Song of Solomon. So you don't have to go to all these so-called experts that 9 out of 10 times out of 10 they're not Israelites, so they don't have no understanding of it because it wasn't given to them, you know, to write these little footnotes and stuff. So let's see what the beginning of Song of Solomon say, who wrote it. And this is Song of Solomon, the exact first verse. It say, the Song of Songs, which is Solomon's. So it just told you right there, I could close the book then. This is Solomon's song. But I'm going to take it a little bit further. Just to confirm it, I'm going to show y'all something. See, the answers to the book is in the book. And this is what they don't want you to believe. And I'm starting to think that either they don't understand that because the Lord just didn't give it to them, because we know 3 out of 4 people not going to get this truth. You know, you can find that the parable of the sowing of the seed. When you go there, that's what it's talking about. It's giving you statistics. So if it's 4 people that you tell the truth to, only 1 out of 4 of them is going to get it. Like real talk. And so don't be discouraged when you see that you're dealing with spiritual dummies. So let's go to, so I'm going to show you exactly what the book, the Bible itself, who it says wrote the Songs of Solomon. Watch this. This a killer right here. So we ain't got to do this no more. This is 1 Kings chapter 4. Now this 1 Kings chapter 4, y'all. So if they try to pull that on you again, take them right here so you can just crush their folly through the door. So this 1 Kings chapter 4, and I want to take it to verse 29. Now y'all listen to this real clear. This 1 Kings chapter 4 verse 29, and it says, and God gave Solomon wisdom and understanding exceeding much, and largeness of heart, even as the sand that is on the seashore. So it said he gave wisdom Solomon even much, like it was basically no limit to his knowledge. And it said his heart, he had largeness of heart. We know that in a Hebrew concept, the heart and the mind is synonymous. So that means his brain could learn anything. Like the dude was, you say you deep, wasn't nobody deeper than Solomon, right? So it says, even as much and largest of heart, even as the sand that is on the seashore. Now that show you how deep his mind is. So you talking about brain cells, this cat was off the chain. You can't count sand on the seashore, right? And so verse 30, it says, and Solomon's wisdom excelled the wisdom of all the children of the east country and all the wisdom of Egypt. So you remember in the book it told us that even Moses, who was a wise man, but some people believe he didn't speak well because of the verse in there when that's mentioned. But that's another lesson I'm gonna get into. I believe that's talking about he didn't speak Hebrew fluidly. That's because Moses was raised as an Egyptian, and yeah, his mother was in his life, but she would have blew his cover if she would have been walking around talking pure Hebrew to him. You see what I'm saying? So he'd have picked up little words, kind of like I pick up Spanish, but I really can't speak it that fluidly. So I believe that's what Moses, and this is just my theory, but this is just looking at the practicality of the scriptures, or the literalism in that part of the scriptures, I should say, not practicality. And when you look at it, that's why the Lord told him, man, I formed him out. So basically, you know, I can teach you how to speak anything. But then he told him, I got your brother Aaron here for that. Because think about it, Aaron would have spoke fluid Hebrew because he was around his Hebrews all the time. So I believe that's what it's talking about. We got to stop spooking stuff out, right? So that's really what that's talking about. But my point is, see, that's a little jewel on the way to dropping something. But my point is, Moses was learned in the knowledge of Egypt. So Moses was wise. He wasn't no dummy, right? But here it say that Solomon was wiser than all that knowledge in Egypt. So that's a dagger to the Hotep Kemetic heads too. So let's keep going. Verse 31. It says, for he was wiser than all men, than Ethan the Ezrahite, and Heman, and Kalkol, and Darda, the sons of Mahol, and his fame was in all nations round about. So all the nations round about had wise men. I believe that the Ezrahite was an Israelite. Probably all of them was that he's talking about, or they could have been representing the nations around them. I don't know. But what we know is what nobody wiser than his cat Solomon, right? And so watch this. Let's get to this the meat part. Now remember, They trying to say that the chick, I am black but comely is a chick, saying that because it's a black lady. So they try to make you think that, yeah, you know, those Jews, they really look like the Jewish people today, but they just had a thing for those black and Ethiopian women. You know, they're going to go back to the Moses story. Nah, fam. That ain't no woman talking. What people got to understand is Solomon wrote this down like he was writing a book, right? So it would look like he's speaking of himself in the third person, but he's writing a story. But the deeper part is the spirit of Christ talking about the love of the church or the love of Israel. And that's why I'm going to find that lesson and show y'all it's proven easy. When he talk about that vineyard, he talks about it in Song of Solomon, the vineyard of my beloved, right? This is the exact same thing that the prophet Isaiah talked about, and it's also in Psalms and other spots. It talks about it in, I believe, Matthew 23. Matthew or Mark 23. Somewhere up in there where it talks about, you know, the vineyard and all that. That is Israel, people. That is Israel. So I got to find that lesson because I go in depth on that. So we can just stop. We going to start playing with the meat and not the milk. But let's look at this key verse, y'all. Verse 32. Here's the bomb. And he spake 3,000 proverbs. Who? Solomon. So we know who wrote the book of Proverbs, because I heard somebody try to pull a trick with that too. So he spake 3,000 proverbs. So that book you see, Proverbs, was just a part of some of the writings that Solomon did. But those are his proverbs. Now watch this. And his songs were 1,005. So the songs of Solomon this is what it's talking about. The songs of Solomon is the songs that First Kings is testifying that Solomon wrote them. Solomon wrote them, nobody else. So that's a dagger. So now y'all got to ask yourself, why is it that they would try to even play with who wrote the songs of Solomon? Because, he's telling you that these people is black. These people is black. And so, just to bag that up, I'm going to show you something else in this verse. Watch this next verse, verse 33. Just to show you that this is talking about the songs of Solomon as one of the songs that he wrote. Verse 33 says, and he spake of trees, from the cedar tree that is in Lebanon, even unto the hyssop that springeth out of the wall. He spake also of beasts and of fowl and of creeping things and of fishes. Now I want y'all to focus on this one part and I'm out of here. It says he spake of trees from the cedar tree that is in Lebanon. So let's see if this is in Songs of Solomon. See how easy this is, y'all? Don't let them try to trick bag you, man, because this Israel thing is out there so strong now, and they just have to face it that we not bragging. I know I'm not, because it's a responsibility that come with it. But the Most High gave this to us. It's time for the priest to pick it back up, because don't nobody understand it like we do. So it said he spoke of cedar trees in Lebanon, right? Let's see if the Song of Solomon speaks of that. So this Song of Solomon, chapter 1, and I'm going to go to verse 17. Watch this. It says, the beams of our house are cedar, and our rafters of fir. There go one. We see cedar. Let's see if we got 2 or 3 witnesses. So let's go to Song of Solomon, chapter 5. Watch this, right? 5, verse 15. It says, his legs are as pillars of marble set upon sockets of fine gold. His countenance is as Lebanon, excellent as the cedars. They done. But I'm going to throw one last one in there, just in case they think they can slide up off the hook. So this is Songs of Solomon, the last chapter, verse 8, and let's look at chapter 8 and verse 9. It said, if she be a wall, we will build upon her a palace of silver, and if she be a door, we will enclose her with boards of cedar. So, people, for future reference, if they ever try to pull that on you again, you ain't got to go to no contemporary historian, no secular history or nothing like that. Just turn right back in your Bible to 1 Kings chapter 4, start from verse 29 to about verse 33, and it tells you who wrote the Songs of Solomon and who wrote the Proverbs, and that was King Solomon. And then you can go straight into Songs of Solomon, and you will see where all the things that they named in there was listed. So I'm going to go find that video for you guys so I can load it to Hebrews in the Hood. I'm also going to load my interview that I had yesterday on Maccabees TV. The brother invited me on there to speak about the violence in Chicago, and the famous YouTuber, young brother that lost his life, Zach TV, got murdered the other night. And so I'm going to load that on my Hebrews in the Hood channel too, and y'all will see me more active. I'm coming back, swords blazing, and don't let them try to throw you off. We Israel, deal with it, and we ain't going nowhere. With that, I say shalom, shalom.